Well, with our jaunty theme, it's time once again to go out to the left coast of the United States of America. And Michael Snyder is going to review some movies and other stuff for us. Yes, Michael.
Oh, God bless America, Alex. God bless you and me and all the listeners at sea. And yeah, well, you know, it's time to get onto the movie train and see if it goes over a cliff or takes us to our destination, happiness and entertainment. Let's go.
Let's go.
It's TV at the Movies week, by the way, as two long-running but very different television properties hit the big screen, one for the 13th time in a number of different ongoing iterations, and one for the very first time after a bit of a TV hiatus, you know, some 6-episode runs, a couple of specials and such. So let's get to Star Trek Beyond. This is the third go-round for the time-traveling in-continuity reboot of the classic TV space opera. As you may recollect, a few years back, J.J. Abrams got his hands on the Star Trek franchise and decided to bring younger actors into the roles of the beloved characters from the original 1960s series, as Chris Pine replaces William Shatner as Captain Kirk, Zachary Quinto in for Leonard Nimoy as Spock, and so on and so forth. And you know, in terms of trying to get this thing rolling again and appeal to a new generation, it did a pretty decent job, and it honored the past by bringing Leonard Nimoy on board, having him slip through time, timeline changing, blah, blah. But the second movie in the series was an attempt to redo the story, best known as The Wrath of Khan, and they tried to flip-flop character circumstances and tried to do a little sleight of hand. And even though Benedict Cumberbatch was the villain and quite good, it seemed pretty knee-jerk. I kind of wish this movie had been the sequel. It's certainly better than 2. It's not as ambitious as 2. It's not as slavish to fan service as 2, although it does still acknowledge things like Leonard Nimoy's passing, which sadly, you know, the entire Star Trek family mourns, but this is still just a jolly adventure in space with none of the social relevance of Gene Roddenberry's TV series and its spin-offs. Essentially, Kirk and the gang are off on their 5-year mission to explore new worlds and seek out new civilizations. They're about 3 years in, and they are sent to Yorktown, which is a beautiful confabulation, heavily CGI driven. It's an anti-grav, an M.C. Escher Mobius strip of a spaceport. And there they get a new assignment. They have to rescue a spacefarer who's out amongst a nebula. And when they get there, it turns out to be a trap. And the villain here is played in high style by Idris Elba under a lot of makeup. The character is known as Krall, and basically he traps the members of the Enterprise on a planet with all kinds of crazy peril, splits the team up, so we get a little character stuff going on. Yeah, I'm happy to see Quinto and Pine. I love Simon Pegg as Scotty the engineer, John Cho as Sulu, the helmsman, Carl Urban as Bones, the doctor, Zoe Saldana as Uhura, the communications officer, who has a relationship in this timeline with the Spock character, and Anton Yelchin as Chekhov. It's heartbreaking to see this young actor with such a promising career ahead of him. He died recently, and he gives a lovely performance, a funny performance as Chekhov. The wit here is a pleasure. The movie was co-written by Simon Pegg, who's best known prior to the Star Trek films for writing and starring in Shaun of the Dead and other British comedies. But ultimately, yeah, you know, it's just a whole 21st century action set piece blockbuster situation dictating a simpler, more linear script, and certainly not a richer script, although there are discussions of post-traumatic stress disorder and other things that are implicit in the villain's circumstance. I wish it had been greater, more noble. It's directed in high style by Fast and Furious director Justin Lin, and that's kind of cool because, again, the action is rat-a-tat-tat, but ultimately it just seemed like kind of an okay episode of the TV series with the new characters instead of the old blown up to enormous blockbuster size. Fans may like it, they may quibble about it, but I certainly thought it was better than the previous film, Star Trek Into Darkness. Moving on to Absolutely Fabulous, the movie. Absolutely Fabulous was a terrific comedy in the 90s that skewered pop culture by introducing us to two trend surfing, out of control, drunk and doped up middle-aged party animals in London. PR hack Adina Monsoon, played by writer and comedian Jennifer Saunders, and fashion mag editorial hag Patsy Stone, played by Joanna Lumley, previously best known as Purdy on the new Avengers TV show, and very, very funny TV program. Great supporting actors, including Julia Sawala as single mom Adina's straight-laced daughter, and the great character actress June Whitfield as the mother. June Whitfield is 90 years old, and she's in this thing, as is Jane Horrocks as Bubble, the idiot assistant. Everybody's back. There are a lot of supporting players that are back, and they kind of opened up the story here to bring us a circumstance where they find themselves on the run from the possible killing on the part of Adina of model Kate Moss at a big fashion event. So you get a lot of supporting characters. You get tons of cameos. You get John Hamm, Rebel Wilson, Joan Collins, Dame Edna. You also get, some regular cameo appearances from the previous TV show and what have you, including Lulu as one of Adina's clients. Adina's trying to restore her good name and her PR business, and everything goes to hell. They are kind of the Lucy and Ethel of the UK and their crazy behavior, and of course they are hard partiers. And there's some funny stuff and a lot of topical humor. If you liked the show, you're going to like this. And in fact, it just seemed like a blown up version of the show. Bigger budget, wider screen, lovely settings in the south of France when they go on the run. There are good things about this movie. I laughed, I enjoyed it. And just in closing, let me say the TV version of Sex and the City, which followed the TV series, was a bomb and a disappointment to me. This did not make me react that way. I thought, this is funny. This is in line with everything they've done before. It's a little on the tired side, maybe, but I enjoyed revisiting them. And man, June Whitfield at 90, she's still getting it done as the prickly mom. So kudos to her and to all of the people that were involved. One more quick note, if you're a fan of Peep Show, Robert Webb, who plays Jeremy on Peep Show, is the new boyfriend of Safi, the daughter. He's a cop. It's pretty cool. Glad to see him working. And moving right along, let's go to Lights Out, which is a new horror film about a family that is plagued by a demonic creature that hates the light and must stay in the darkness, and has decided to follow and torment a woman and her children for, I don't know, maybe because she sort of misses human contact. But we don't really know, because things are very unclear about the character's origins. There are some automatic jump scares in this movie, and some okay effects and direction. And the mother and daughter of this family are well enacted by, of all people, Maria Bello, an actress I love, and as the daughter, Teresa Palmer. But this is not a great nor memorable horror film by any stretch, due to plot holes, weak motivations, and an illogically conceived and behaving and unmemorable monster. There are, like I said, good jump scares. It's a horror movie. It's short. It's to the point, but it just didn't stick with me, and I kind of was disappointed. It could have been so much better. Whatever mythology they tried to build just lay there, or doesn't exist, or is imminently forgettable. Lights Out will appeal to some, but it is at best TV fodder. I would say if you can watch it on cable on a Saturday night with nothing better to do, maybe you'll enjoy it. Let's wrap this baby up with a movie I absolutely loved. Finally, of the four films, something I can unreservedly say you should check it out. It's called Don't Think Twice. And it's kind of a sophisticated indie comedy, low budget, but sharp. Turmoil strikes a New York improvisational comedy troupe when one member leaves to star in a television show. That's the essentials here. This features a great cast. Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele, Gillian Jacobs of Community, Kate Micucci of Garfunkel and Oates, You even get Lena Dunham and writer, director, and star Mike Birbiglia, who is a stand-up comic who has made one previous film of some note about his life and his foibles, and knocks it out of the park here. This is very bittersweet. It's very astute. It's an ensemble comedy. This comedy troupe is dedicated but struggling, and they start to implode when the character played by Keegan-Michael Key passes an audition to join the cast of kind of a show in the mold of Saturday Night Live. Everybody in this cast, I think, is well versed in the realm of ad-lib sketch comedy. Nothing seems scripted. The inside showbiz backstage stuff rings true, but what really makes Don't Think Twice special is its depiction of the really human emotions that swamp the troupe in the face of a colleague getting this newfound success. You know, love and respect become jealousy and anger, romantic and career frustration upend these guys. They're like formerly devoted comrades, and all hell breaks loose. We're there to see the trust and the fealty unravel and to laugh at it. Again, I really liked Don't Think Twice. Didn't see Ice Age Collision Course. Don't particularly care. Burned out on those movies. Scrat, that bizarre little kind of prehistoric squirrel, is the only thing I've liked about the last couple of them. He comes, he goes. The jokes are tired. I didn't see it. You're on your own. Kaboom.
Kaboom. That's it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How about TV, man? What do you got?
Nothing.
What do you know? There's a TV show that Netflix has put out that people have likened to Amazing Stories. It's called Stranger Things.
We watched the whole thing.
And what did you think about Stranger Things?
It was mildly okay. You know, it wasn't great. It is so derivative of the Goonies. It's more Spielberg than it is anything else.
Oh, Amazing Stories. Someone told me it was in the realm of that.
No.
Not an anthology. More it is a linear tale as well.
Yeah, more the Goonies, more E.T. Okay, I think E.T. is the thing I would liken it to because it has all the touchstones of E.T. And it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I mean, it's only 8 episodes, so binge watching, it's not difficult, you know.
I'm dipping into Mr. Robot Season 2. I'm very happy about that.
I think it is totally incomprehensible.
I have to watch it twice if that's what you mean.
Well, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way. It should be. You should be able to understand it immediately and enjoy it. But what happened last season with that show where it went wrong was it got off to a great start. And then it started adding too many characters, too many subplots. And by the time they got to this season, because I hadn't gone back and watched all the old ones again like I should have done, they find no way for people to access it in the second season.
Well, I find it dense, and I enjoy the first viewing, but I get much more on the second. And maybe you don't want to waste that much time on it, and I honor that. But I've really got a kick out of it. I also want to just wrap by saying The Tunnel, which is the Franco-British, the Anglo-Franco version of The Bridge. I'm really enjoying the hell out of that. I've been catching up to that. That's certainly worth your time if you're into procedurals.
Yeah. We went to the movies and we saw Secret Life of Pets, which we thoroughly enjoyed. It's an enjoyable picture.
I found it very entertaining. It's no Zootopia, but yes, I
Zootopia. I got Zootopia, and we sat there and thought it sucked.
Wow, I don't even know what to say, but chocolate, vanilla, Zootopia.
Taste, no taste. Anyway, and then I also watched Batman versus Superman, which should be called Batman versus Superman versus every anchor person in America. It's like they all got them into this movie. I just think it doesn't set up what they're going for.
Did you watch the 3-hour version? Is that it?
No, I didn't watch the 3-hour version. No, I watched the 2.5-hour 3D version.
Was it excruciating?
I thought it was. Nothing's excruciating at home because you can pause it, you can go to the bathroom, you can go do other stuff. In a movie theater, I think it would be pretty excruciating. Yeah.
One quick question for you regarding that. How do you like the young Mark Zuckerberg version of Lex Luthor?
A lot of people complained about him, but I thought he was maybe the best thing in the film.
Well, I prefer Jesse Eisenberg as the Woody Allen doppelganger in Cafe Society.
Well, but they're two entirely different type of films, so why are
Sure.
we even discussing that?
Well, what is he? What is he worth? What is he good for? What is he comfortable with? And I prefer the other. But totally awesome. I guess we should wrap, right?
I think we should wrap, by playing
Well,
the well-known theme song here.
Check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster, or go to Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. Re-listen to some of our comments, questions, arguments, and tete-a-tetes. And we'll see you hopefully in a week.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And as for the rest of you, stay tuned. There's more GABNet coming right up.